Uh, Respected Sri R.V. Ramakrishna, GM NABARD, Sri Ashish Anand, founder WHRRL, Sri Ritesh Raman, business head for warehousing and collateral management in Arya Collateral Warehousing Services Private Limited, Sri Ashish Agrawal, Director, Resurgent India Limited, and all respected participants and my dear friends present in today's virtual session on funding opportunities in food processing and agri infrastructure. First of all, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to Director Sri Agrawal, Resurgent India Limited and his team for giving me an opportunity for speaking on the subject.
Thank you, sir.
I will give you a brief introduction about the AIF, then my central PMO team headed by Sri Mittal Saab will give you a detailed presentation on the scheme. As you or we all are aware that more than 58% of our populations are depending on agriculture. And out of this, 85% farmers are small and marginal farmers. But there is a huge existing gap. There is a huge gap in existing infrastructure and require agri infrastructure in the country. Because of this, around 10 to 15% yield is going to waste every year. And secondly, there is a scarcity for availability of medium and long-term financing facility for our newly startups and agri entrepreneurs. So to address both of the issues for filling the gap in infrastructure, agri infrastructure, as well as for providing that opportunities, the newly startup agri entrepreneurs, the government of India launched a scheme last year. It was formally inaugurated on 9th August last year by our Honorable Prime Minister. This Agri Infra Fund facility, it is a size of 1 lakh crore financing facility will be provided by our financing institutions. So in this scheme, there are two major components are there. One is the 3% interest subvention is there up to 2 crore. So there is a credit guarantee facility also there for eligible borrowers through CGT MSC. The duration of this financing facility will be available for 7 years, including 2 years moratorium time. Then, as I told, most of all the private sector bank and all the public sector banks, including cooperative banks, also have been signed that MOU with the Ministry of Agriculture for lending in this scheme. The beneficiaries, there is a huge diversity is there in the beneficiaries. The farmers can take the advantage, then FPOs can avail, then cooperative sector, including cooperative federations, then agri entrepreneurs, startups, then state as well as central sector entities like that central warehouse corporation and other state and central entities also can avail that AIF facility. Then federation of that FPOs, and recently that cabinet approved that some modification in this scheme, where earlier only one project was allowed for one entity, but now it is extended up to 25 project at different location. So the beneficiary can take the benefit for each project up to 2 crore for 25 projects at different locations. And this limit is not there for private, for government entities as well as FPOs and cooperative federations. Then APMCs, our mandis can avail this facility at one location without, there is no condition for being that project being at different locations. Then, as I told, a credit guarantee will be provided for the eligible borrowers from CGTMSC Trust Fund, which is created by Ministry of Small Scale Industries for promoting that micro and small scale industries. Then one beauty of this scheme is there that beneficiaries can take that benefit of the other government schemes, and they can take the benefit of AIF as a top up. Like that, I would like to say that if there is other scheme of central as well as the state government where that any capital subsidy is available, then beneficiary can take facility of that capital subsidy, as well as if they need the financing, then they can take the benefit of this AIF. So it is a overall introduction of the scheme. Now I would like to request the Mittal Saab team to give that detailed presentation on the scheme AIF. Thank you, everybody.
अमरीश दे रहे हैं आप?
Hello. Thank you, Meena sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, we can see your presentation, sir. Hello, Mittal sir. Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Am I audible? Yeah. And my screen is also visible to everyone.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
please
Good
go ahead.
afternoon, everyone. My name is Amresh Dey. I'm a part of the Central PMU. So I'll be running through this presentation. First we'll discuss about the scheme guidelines in brief. Then try to understand which are the kind of project which are eligible under the scheme and the eligible beneficiary. Subsequently, we'll try to understand what is the application process. And in the end, I will run through the portal, Agri Infra Fund portal. And at the end, if time permits, we can have question and answer session.
Right.
So as Agarwal ji and Meena sir has rightly pointed out, there are huge gap in agriculture infrastructure at the grassroots level, because of which there is huge post-harvest losses, there is lack of mechanization in the field of agriculture, and there is higher dependency on intermediaries for marketing of agricultural produce. To fill this gap, on 15 May 2020, under Atmanirbhar package, it was announced by Finance Minister, and subsequently it was approved by the Cabinet on 8th of July 2020. So here I would like to highlight that all those projects which were disbursed after 8th of July 2020, they are all eligible under Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, if the project is eligible. Subsequently, it was officially launched by Honorable Prime Minister of India on 9th of August 2020. And recently, after completion of a year, we have suggested a few changes in the scheme, which was approved by the Cabinet on 8th of July 2021. As Meena sir has highlighted many useful points about the scheme, here are the few major points, 8 major points. First is a 1 lakh crore medium to long term debt financing facility. Although states have been given targets, but it is basically first come first serve basis. Whichever state come and take the benefit of the scheme, they'll be taking more benefit the time range. And all those different kind of beneficiary, whether it is farmer, FPO, entrepreneur, private enterprise, startups, including state agencies, federation, they're all eligible under the scheme if the activity is eligible. This scheme provide two major benefit. One is interest subvention and second is credit guarantee. In case of interest subvention, actually what happened is ministry is signing MOU with all those lending institutions, whether it is commercial bank or cooperative banks, RRBs, small finance bank and non-banking financing facilities, institutions, etc. Ministry is signing this MOU with all those financial institutions with certain terms and conditions. One term is that bank cannot charge more than their MCLR plus 1% or with a cap of 9%. They cannot charge beyond 9%, and it is MCLR plus 1% linked. So on the top of it, ministry is giving an interest subvention of 3%. So like for an example, in case of SBI, now the rate is MCLR plus 1% is coming somewhere around 8%. So the interest rate is somewhere around 5%. Similarly, in case of PAX, there is further an additional facility. There is under scheme of NABARD, that is PAX as MSC scheme. NABARD is providing refinancing facility to state cooperative bank and DCCB, through which PAX has, the PAX is primary agricultural cooperative society. They are getting a loan at the rate of 4%. On the top of it, when it is converged with Agri Infra fund, the effective rate of interest is somewhere around 1%. In addition to that, there is credit guarantee facility under the scheme. Here, ministry doesn't directly give any kind of credit guarantee to the loan. It is through CGTMSE. Under CGTMSE, whatever CGTMSE charges to the applicant, that will be reimbursed by the ministry. However, in case of FPO, there is a separate scheme of Government of India, that is FPO Promotion Fund Scheme. And along with that, there is scheme of SFSE also. Through this credit guarantee is being provided, not through the support of Agri Infra fund. Under this scheme, a beneficiary can take the benefit for 7 years of loan period, which includes the 2 years, a maximum of 2 years of moratorium period. For this scheme, government is monitoring on a regular basis with all those financing institutions, along with whether it is DCCB or cooperative sector banks and commercial bank. Ministry is reviewing their progress, and there is a user-friendly portal available through which, starting from registration to loan application to loan process, disbursement, everything is happening through this portal, and ministry is directly monitoring this thing. As I said, that different kind of lending institutions, they are signing MOU with ministry, and so far almost all those, whether it is commercial bank, cooperative bank, RRBs, and all different kind of bank, many banks have already signed MOU with the ministry. As Meena sir has rightly said, that this is a top-up scheme. It can be converged with any other state or central government scheme. There is no restriction. Whether it is capital subsidy scheme or interest subsidy scheme, they can all be converted with Agri Infra fund. So recently, a few modifications have been made based on the demand and different kind of project infrastructure which are actually useful. One is that now eligibility of this scheme is extended to APMC, state agencies such as State Seed Corporation, State Warehouse Corporation, there is NAFED, and all other different kind of state and national agencies, they are now eligible under the scheme. Along with that, state and national federations of cooperatives, FPOs, and Federation of FPOs, Federation of SHGs, they are also eligible to participate in the scheme. Earlier, there are on the portal, one entity could apply only one application. However, now it has been extended up to 25 projects per private entity, with a catch that each of the projects has to be located in different LGD codes. Mostly LGD code means a different village area. So each of the project here, the objective of the ministry is to take this benefit in a scattered way. Like the infrastructure should be created in a decentralized manner, not a centralized way. That is why the limit has been set up of 2 crore rupees, and like to take the benefit of up to 25 projects, each of the projects has to be located in different villages. But however, for APMC, as there is no this limit, this limit of LGD code is not there. They can create unlimited infrastructure within their operational areas. However, for each of the project, there is a limit of 2 crore rupees. Earlier, the scheme was up to 2025. 2024, after this cabinet approval, it has been extended up to 25-26, which means the total disbursement, or this 1 lakh crore of disbursement that is targeted, that has to be completed by the end of the financial year 25-26. Majorly, we face this issue that most of the stakeholders and applicants are not aware that which are the kind of infrastructure which are eligible and which are not. Because during this Atmanirbhar package announcement, 3 schemes were announced at the same time. One is Agri Infra Fund, second is Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund, and third is the PM-FME of Ministry of Food Processing. So they somehow promote some or other kind of infrastructure, so we don't want to overlap with each other, this ministry. So there are some part which are covered under MOPP, some part which are covered under Animal Husbandry Department, and some are covered under this Agri Infra Fund. So here we are restricted up to primary processing. We don't go beyond that because secondary processing activities are being taken care by Ministry of Food Processing. As you can see, there are 3 major part of this eligible activities. One is community farming asset, where one is smart and precision agriculture. In this, you can go for this drone-based farming, or you can go for a custom hiring center where you are renting out machineries to farmers. There is input production facility. You can go for seed processing, tissue culture, nursery production, nursery unit, etc. They are eligible. Similarly, supply chain infrastructure, you can go for some vehicle for supply chain, or e-marketing facility, etc. It is covered. Under post-harvest management project, pack house, cleaning, sorting, grading, drying, and storage infrastructure, whether it is warehouse, dry warehouse, or cold storage or silos, they're all eligible. Similarly, on all the eligible infrastructure, if somebody want to upgrade that into solar system, their solar panel on the eligible infrastructure is also eligible. And under primary processing unit, the rice and dal mill, flour mill, oil mill without refinery unit, spices grinding, jaggery and sugar processing, they are all eligible under this scheme. However, some of the part of Ministry of Food Processing that they are covering, like for example, juice preparation or pulp extraction, in those cases, the secondary part is being covered by them. However, the back end process such as cleaning, sorting, grading, storing, and those kind of primary activity can be converted with Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. As I said, the different kind of beneficiaries are eligible. There is no restriction, except that the state and central government cannot directly apply. They can come to through PPP mode. Other than that, almost all those different kind of entities are eligible to apply for Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. So there are many good schemes of central government and state government which can be converted with Agri Infra Fund. If you see, there is a good scheme of horticulture department, that is MIDH, Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture. There is a huge subsidy of 35 to 50% of capital subsidy available. If it converts with Agri Infra Fund, their viability and it's very good. Similarly, as I said, there is this PM formalization of micro food processing enterprise scheme of MOPP, where they're giving a capital subsidy of up to 35%. In this case, like all those primary processing activities can be converted with Agri Infra Fund. Similarly, for agriculture mechanization for custom hiring centers, etc., there is a scheme of submission of an agriculture mechanization, which can be converted with this. Similarly, there is Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, then PM Kisan Sampada Yojana, Operation Green for tomato, onion, and potato. These all can be converged. This is an indicative list. As you can see, there is a state government scheme. This is Rajasthan Agro Processing, Agribusiness and Agri Export Promotion Policy. Here, along with capital subsidy, the state government is providing an additional 5% of interest subvention. So if it is get converted with Agri Infra Fund, so the effective rate of interest for individual is somewhere around 1% or lesser than that. The similar in case of tax that is happening at present. So here, like we have developed a user-friendly portal, as I said. In that, all the different kind of materials are available for your uses. As you can see, there is a template, a DPR template that we have developed. It is developed based on our discussions with banks and all as per their requirement. So it is a simple fill in the blank type of DPR, which you can, it's a 3-4 pages DPR template. You can download and fill this up and submit on the portal. The process flow of AIF application is very simple. As you can see, for non-PAX entity, this non-PAX entity, they have to go to this portal, the agriinfra.dac.gov.in. In that, they have to register themselves using their mobile number and Aadhaar card number. Once they register themselves there, they will get an OTP on the registered mobile number. With the OTP, they can further log in and go to the loan application tab. On the loan application, they can fill some basic details like what is the nature of the project and what is the total amount they're applying. And here they can select the bank, they can select the branch, and along with that, they have to upload a PDF copy of the DPR. Once they upload this DPR and submit this application, it will directly come to the tray of the central PMU. At the central PMU level, we basically check 3 important things. One is whether this project is eligible or not. Second is there is a condition that minimum of promoter's contribution should be 10%. We check whether that is there or not. Thirdly, whether there is a DPR attached along with proper cash flow statement is there or not. Once we verify this application at the level of central PMU, it will go to the tray of the bank. At the bank level, they can further take the decision of sanction or rejection, and they can further, they have to disburse this amount on the portal itself. And subsequently, at the end of every quarter, they have to claim the interest subvention amount from the ministry. In case of PAX, it is a bit different as it is passing through the District Central Cooperative Bank, then State Cooperative Bank, and finally, NABARD Regional Office has the final authority to sanction this along with the sanction amount and tenure, etc. Once NABARD sanctions this application, it will go to the respective DCCB for disbursement. So I would like to run through this portal once for the benefit of all the participants. Here is our portal. There is agriinfra.dac.gov.in. Here, if you go to eligible project, you can see crop wise which are the project which are eligible and which are not. In details, it is mentioned crop wise. You can see.
Sir, we
And
cannot
time,
see your portal. Sir, sorry to interrupt you. We cannot see this portal on the screen.
Okay.
Only presentation is coming, which is last page of
Yeah,
the
just a minute. Is it visible now?
It is visible now, sir.
Yeah. So here on the portal, if you go to the eligible project, you can see this. You can see crop wise which are the activities which are eligible and which are not. And time and again, we keep on updating this crop wise different kind of activities. This is there. And there must be some basic question which are addressed on the FAQ. And here you can check the interest rate of lending institution. Here many banks will be there because a lot of DCCB has been registered with us. So there are a huge number of banks. Here you have to filter scheduled commercial bank. And now you can see the interest rate of each of the banks. In the beneficiary, here is the registration and here is the DPR template which is available as I have shown it in the PPT. Here is the checklist of the document which in most of the cases bank require for sanctioning the loan. Here the details of checklist documents are available. And there is videos on how to register themselves in both Hindi and English. Along with that, there is model DPR. You have to click on that. Here you have to select a DPR sample. And around 15-16 DPR we have already uploaded and keep on uploading this DPR sample, which is both without subsidy and with subsidy kind of thing. And along with that, for the simplicity of the users, we have uploaded all those Excel sheet, calculation sheet of each of the DPR, where you can go to others and search, and here different kind of DPR Excel sheet you will find. You can download, and you can simply change the size of the unit, and you can change the manpower requirement details. So accordingly, all those calculation will change, which you can copy and paste on the DPR and submit the DPR. So here is the registration tab where you can fill this thing, your name, mobile number, and Aadhaar card number, through which you will get an OTP, and you can further apply for the loan. So in short, what I was trying to tell is it's a simple process. Like it will simply come to the PMU, and once it comes to the PMU within 48 hours, we normally process this application. If there is some gap, we mark it as pending for information along with our comment, and we should go back to the tray of the applicant. Further, they can rectify and resubmit this application. So
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. It's a very well organized, very well defined also, and you have make it so simple. Anybody can go from anywhere in the country. While sitting in the village also, anybody can apply via the internet connectivity. So they can do it directly, and they can take the advantage of this scheme. So once again, thank you very much, Meena sir and Ashwani sir and your team for giving this complete presentation about the scheme. There are questions, sir, so I'll take one or two questions. I think we have some ministry meeting, so we want to leave actually, but we'll take some questions from the audience. I think some people have asked, I think somebody has asked that I am a farmer and I want to build warehouse and want to buy a small pulse milling machine. How will I get the benefit in that state, or I have to go to other states? So over to you, sir, for your comments on that. Meena sir and your team.
हाँ जी, जो भी farmers हैं, they are eligible. They can prepare their DPRs, and as our team told in the presentation, they supposed to be apply on the portal. Then applications will come to our PMO. We will verify. But my request is there, please give some do the homework for preparing the DPR. The DPR document must be self content. Okay. Okay. So I think they have not, he has not written for each from which state. He said that for availing this, I have to change the state. I think each from Assam, but I believe. So do you have this allocation of this scheme in Assam also, sir? Yeah, it is a all in Pan India scheme, and they can apply wherever they want. But that borrowers, who is the owner, that address, bank will ask that address detail. So they should take care about the banks, whatever they will ask the documents for AIF. It is a Pan India scheme. Okay, sir. Another question is size of the project in terms of value of the project. So, what can be the maximum size of the project? Total project cost. Is there any limitation on that, or it is open? Yeah, there is at all no limitations on the upper side of the project, but benefit will be available for up to 2 crore only. Whatever the benefits are there for AIF, those benefits will be available up to 2 crore only. It's 2 crore per annum, sir, or it's 2 crore total? In total, 2 crore for each project. Interest subsidy. Yes, up to 2 crore that interest for loan, up to 2 crore that interest subvention will be provided by Government of India. Okay. Okay. Right, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your presentation and deliberation also. Now I would like to, I'll come back to you again, sir, but now we have Sri R.V. Ramakrishnan, sir, who is the GM of NABARD, and he is having very, very good experience of the rural or the food processing or agri, and he has worked in NABARD for many years. He has published many papers also on the MFI or rural side, and
he was associated with German International Corporation also. So currently he the GM of NABARD and he the director in the Delhi State Cooperative Bank. So first of all, Ramakrishna sir, thank you very much for joining with us and accepting our request. NABARD is a large agency or basically the organization which is helping the rural economy since starting. So we would like to understand, in keeping in mind this today's topic, how the NABARD is helping, or what are your views on this funding to the agri or the food processing sector, sir. Over to you and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Agarwal. Am I audible? Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Are you able to hear me properly?
There is some, I think, connective. Now we can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon to my fellow panelists. Thank you, Mr. Agarwal, for inviting me for this webinar. And a very warm good afternoon to all the participants who have joined from across the country and elsewhere. So I think before I start talking on the subject, let me briefly tell you what NABARD is. As you all know, NABARD is the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. It is the largest development financial institution in the country and anywhere in the developing world, perhaps with the exception of China. We have four basic functions. One is the loaning business of ours, which is providing loans. We provide refinance to the banking system, the commercial bank, the regional rural banks, the cooperative banks, urban and both rural cooperative banks, the small payment bank, the small finance banks and the payment banks and NBFCs. We also provide loans to the state government for setting up infrastructure. I think that's a major part of our loaning business also. Besides the lending business, as you see the word development in our name, I think development forms a major mandate for NABARD, and we are, as our vision says, we are responsible for the overall integrated development of agriculture and rural development with a vision to provide, foster rural prosperity. We, in addition to finance, I think development is a major part of it. So we provide a lot of promotional and developmental support to developmental projects in the farm sector and also in the off-farm sector. Almost on an annual basis, we spend close to 50 to 60 crores alone on this alone. Then we also supervise the rural financial institutions. We are perhaps a very unique organization in the country. Like Reserve Bank of India is the sole regulator for the financial system, and the regulatory part of Reserve Bank of India, as far as the rural cooperative banks are concerned, I think NABARD provides support to the Reserve Bank of India for regulatory activities by on-site supervision, which is a major function of NABARD. We supervise the rural cooperative banks and the regional rural banks and provide recommendations for regulatory initiatives by the Reserve Bank of India. So in addition to finance, in addition to development, in addition to supervision, I think we also have a part in providing policy inputs and advocacy for policy, because we have regional offices spread all over the country, and all our regional offices are very well integrated with the state governments and head office and the office in Delhi. We are well linked with the central government. So we pass on all our experiences of the field, both in agriculture and off agriculture, with the policymakers, so that I think policies which are well tuned to the requirements of the population are coming out. So this is as far as the functions of NABARD is concerned. My colleague from the ministry was talking about the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. NABARD also provides refinance for loans which are provided by the banking system under the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund for providing the infrastructure which I think they were listing out earlier. I think the highlight under this Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, as far as NABARD is concerned, is we have sanctioned close to 2,000 crores to the primary agriculture cooperative societies for setting up multi-service centers, which is basically some or the other sort of infrastructure which provides development and support to the agriculture. These loans are also provided at a concessional rate of interest to the PACs. It almost works out to 1% interest on a term loan, which is, I think, you will not get in any other place. So, in addition to this one, I think the government of India has sort of set up a fund called is again with a view to promoting organized food processing industries. The government of India set up a food processing fund in NABARD in the year 2014-15 of about 2,000 crores, and we have sanctioned loans out of this fund to about 12 mega food parks projects, about 10 agro processing clusters, and 10 food processing units as of March of this year. And the people who are eligible to get financed under this fund are the state governments, entities promoted by the state government, central governments, joint ventures, cooperatives, farmer producer organizations, corporates, companies, entrepreneurs, etc. NABARD, I think if I can talk a little about the food processing sector, I think the food processing sector offers the greatest growth potential because I think by the year 2025-26, the output is expected to reach at least 40 lakh crore. Yeah, that's almost $535 billion. It also, is expected to generate employment to about 90 lakh jobs. As of today, I think it only provides about 20 lakh jobs in the sector. The major, the drivers, the growth drivers for the food processing industry, as I think my colleague was earlier saying, in the ministry, as far as processing of agriculture products is concerned, I think we do it the least. The processing levels of fruits and vegetables in India is only about 2.5%. And the overall processing of agriculture product is only about 10%. If you compare this with the US, it's about 65% in the US. In China, it's about 23%. Even in developing countries like Thailand, Philippines, and Brazil, it's as high as 30, 78, and 70%. So I think India's vast agricultural resources provides a huge potential for the food processing and equipment industry. Startups, as we all know, have emerged as major technology disruptors in almost every field of the economy, and food processing sector is no exception. These startups work across food processing value chains. They create innovative products. They provide supply chain solutions, whether it's packaging, processing technology, and things like this. And NABARD has invested through alternate investment funds of close to 350 crores, mostly in the agri sector. In addition, NABARD has also set up what is called the NAB Ventures, which is a subsidiary of NABARD. It's a venture growth equity fund that invests in agriculture, food, rural business, and agri and financial services from early to mid stage. We also focus on food processing as part of this NAB Venture investments. Another scheme of the government of India, which I think NABARD works very closely with, is the Prime Minister's formalization of micro food processing enterprises. You see, the unorganized food and food processing sector in the country comprises nearly about 25 lakh food processing enterprises, which are mostly unregistered and very informal, with participation of mainly women and others in the rural areas. Although the investment in plant and machinery is only 7% as far as this sector is concerned, unorganized sector is concerned, they've almost contributed to 75% of the employment in this sector. And nearly 66% of the units in the unorganized sector are located in the rural areas, and almost 80% of them are family-based enterprises. So this scheme of the government of India tries to, promote formalization of the informal micro enterprises by providing them various sorts of support, including training and capacity building. I think the people who are eligible for under this scheme could be, private individuals, they could be farmer producer companies, they could be SHGs, and they could be cooperatives. There is a provision, if it's a self-help group, there's a provision also to provide, in addition to training and capacity building, seed capital support of almost 40,000 rupees per SHG member for purchase of small tools and small working capital. There's also a provision to finance up to 10 lakh per unit under this scheme, and there is a grant provision of almost 35% of the project cost up to 10 lakhs. So this is one scheme, I think, which aims to modernize and enhance the competitiveness of the existing individual micro enterprises and ensure that the transition to the formal sector is in a very smooth manner. So with this, I think I will stop at this, and if there are any questions, I would be happy to take them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for giving the outlook of the different schemes on NABARD. There is one question, sir, which is from the audience. They would like to understand, are you directly funding also? It's only a refinancing organization. You told that mega food park, I think you have funded. So people would like to know, can they approach you for the funding for setting up the food processing unit also, or maybe other area?
Yeah. I think food processing units which are set up in these mega food parks, they could approach the banking system. They could also approach NABARD.
So you're saying that any mega food park is there where anybody is setting up the food processing unit, they can directly approach you for funding also.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good idea. I think people are not aware about this. Basically, they are still approaching to banks only. So thank you very much, sir, for your deliberation. And we got very good knowledge of the schemes of the NABARD. So thank you, sir. I'll come back to again. Now we have Ritesh Ramanji, the business head and warehousing and collateral management with Arya Collateral Warehousing Services Private Limited. So Ritesh ji has very good experience of banking side also, and now the practitioner in this agri funding or collateral management areas. So Ritesh ji, we would like to understand brief about this Arya Collateral and basically how you are helping the sector by way of this collateral management in rural areas and the funding to the farmers and the villages actually. So over to you, and thank you very much.
Yeah, first of all, good afternoon to Meena sir, Ramakrishna sir, and all the Mr. Ashish ji, and Ashish Anand ji and Mr. Ashish Agrawal ji for inviting me for this webinar. So, as I said, as you asked about Arya, and you were telling that it's new, I just like to correct it. It's not new now. We are one of the largest warehouse service provider now in the country.
Okay, so, I'm sorry for that.
We are currently managing more than 35 lakh tons of non-perishable agri commodities in our warehouses. And we have around 2,500 warehouses spread in 18 states now. And the worth of those commodities would be 9,000 crore plus. So as of now, if I talk about 31st of August 2021, this is our status. So we are around 10 years old company since the management change has happened over here. So we are NBFC also, which is Arya Solutions Private Limited. Through that, we lend to farmers, FPOs, small traders, and so far we have lent around 600 crores of loan based on agri commodities. It's a warehouse receipt funding which we lend to the farmers and FPOs. And why we have here? I'll just like to brief that what we have believed during our journey, that this whole chain is quite fragmented. So all the stakeholders of this chain are like working in isolation. So aggregator is working in isolation, then trader is in warehouse service provider, then all the corporates who are buying the commodities. So they all are working in isolation. So what we try to develop a chain model here. So we provide, first of all, aggregation services. Like we have our AI-based quality assessment services. So anyone who brings commodity at the warehouses, he gets the quality assessment services quickly, and that's completely AI-based. And within 5 minutes, he can get the quality of that produce. We provide warehouse discovery platform also. So anyone sitting in Chennai, if he wants a warehouse in Bihar, he can log in to our platform, and he can select the space and he can book the space. So, and by after storage, any farmer, FPO, or anybody who has stored in the warehouses, the store becomes gets digitized immediately. So we create an electronic balance of that commodity. And if he wishes to take loans from any of the banks or our NBFC, he can take loan immediately. So like we are in our Aradhan, which is our NBFC, we have developed a model where it's a self-decisioning fintech platform now. So if you give the documents, within 5 minutes, your loan gets either sanctioned or gets rejected. So the TAT is very good over here. And then if he wants to sell the commodities, he can sell immediately because we have our e-commerce platform as well. We call it Arya Tech platform, and wherein anybody who has stored their produce, he can sell it. So this is the whole model which we have built. Then we have around, if you talk about our customer base, we have 100 plus agri corporates as our customers, and we have around 4,500 retail clients onboarded, and those retail clients, through those clients, we are serving more than 6 lakh farmers. The new thing which I would like to tell about is we have innovated one hermetic storage also. So this is like it's a flexible warehouse. You can say it a flexible warehouse. It's a mobile warehouse. You can put those bags anywhere in the field also, and you can store the commodities. This is like, and you can move that once the commodity gets dispatched, you can move that storage point to anywhere. So those areas where there is a problem of warehouses, where conventional warehousing is not available, there farmers or corporates can use this hermetic storage also. So this was a brief about Arya. I'd like to hear, as we spoke about AIF, we are the part of advisory council of AIF also. Arya is one of the part of the advisory council, and here we have helped in implementing this scheme to various warehouse service partners. So around 4 to 5 projects have been sanctioned through us. What we have during our last discussion with AIF, we have recommended some of the things, and thankfully some of the things have been implemented also. Because currently what we see that this scheme is focused toward creation of warehouse infrastructure. Now, if we include ancillary services of warehouses, that will help to have more of the players coming into, and they'll try to build more and more warehouses, because we are present at farm gate locations. Our presence is more at the farm gate locations, where if you go to primary or secondary locations, we are present there. So those farmers, FPOs, or the small players, they have a limitation that they can take advantage of this fund and create warehouse, but they don't know how to run this warehouse. So there we are helping them to, by providing quality services, by providing e-market platform, by providing hermetic storage. So we wanted AIF to include these services, ancillary services also in the whole scheme. And some of the things have been implemented, like quality labs. It has been approved that if somebody wants to start a quality lab in the warehouses, that will also get covered in the AI project. Then e-marketing platform also, that is also covered. Hermetics also is getting covered now. So we think if we include all these things, and then this AI scheme will have a multiplier effect in the whole ecosystem. Then, as we are the partner of AIF in implementation, we want that some players like us, more and more players like us, should also be the partners here. Then only this scheme will get promoted to every nook and corner of the country. Then existing mandi infrastructure, like small mandis in a smaller locations, the upgradation of that infrastructure, mandi infrastructure, should also get covered in the AIF. That will help to have more and more such promotion of that scheme in those rural areas also. Then we talked with a lot of banks. They are not aware about this scheme, and they don't have any program related to this particular to this scheme. So when we talked to a lot of our warehouse partners, they were not aware. They talked to bank and they were not aware about this scheme. Those banks were not aware. So we connected them through AIF, and then the loan got disbursed. So the promotion to these banks is critical for the benefit of the scheme. Then we have suggested that a lot of there are a lot of technology partners to monitor in monitoring of the warehouses. They should also get communicated towards this scheme. Then they can, if the scheme covers those technology solutions, a lot of new technology solutions for monitoring are getting coming in this country. So if those companies or those entrepreneurs are approached to implement those technology in the warehouses, then it will automatically get more attraction. So these are some of the schemes which some of the recommendations we have given to AIF also. And a lot of them have been, in fact, approved also. And we see in going forward, these schemes will also get implemented. So that was some of the points from our organization. Thank you.
Great. I think you have given very good background about the TSG, about the area collateral or area group, actually, where you are doing lot many things. The one thing is identifying the warehouse by sitting at your home. You can identify across the country, and you can book for the storage. So something very, very innovative which you are doing along with the funding. You are providing technology support also. That is great. And your suggestion, because this AIF team is there, so your suggestions, I think that they will evaluate, and the valid suggestions are there. Banking part, definitely the banks are not very much clear about the scheme. They are still not aware. The portal also, what I believe, because yesterday I was with some of the banks, they were saying that please submit the proposal to us, we will see it, and then we'll let you know what will happen. So this AIF team has given very good option, rather approaching to any bank directly. You can go to the AIF this portal actually, and where you can register your project, and you can get the banks who will be interested. So very good in infrastructure, IT infrastructure integrated. So thank you very much for giving the outlook about your organization and your suggestions for the AIF. Now we have Ashish Anandji. Ashish Anandji, the founder of Grill. It's a very MNC kind of name actually. So Ashish ji, thank you very much for joining with us. He is blockchain expert actually. He was founded the Blockchain Association, the World Association for Blockchain. And I think he doing many things on the blockchain side, where the technology is helping to farm production, or maybe the funding in the farm side. So we would like to understand from him the scope of blockchain in agri related or agriculture, and how it is impacting the life of the farmers. So thank you very much, and over to you, Ashish.
Thanks Ashish Agrawal ji for inviting me here on this panel, on the August panel, where stalwarts like Krishnan sir and all of them are there. Mr. Raman is there, Mr. Ramakrishnan sir is there, Mr. Meena is there. So thanks a lot for giving us this platform and help us to spread awareness about how we are using blockchain at World, what we are doing. So actually speaking, World is a digital warehouse receipt finance platform wherein we use blockchain technology for providing lending to farmers using their warehouse receipts in government and non-government warehouses. So we are currently helping farmers to get loan against their warehouse receipt. And by that, we help them avoid the distress sale. So if you must be aware that distress sale due to low price after harvest is a major problem faced by the farmers. What World does that it allows them to store those commodities when the prices are low in the warehouses, and allow them to avail loan from our partner warehouses against those commodities deposited. And all this function happens without need of visiting a bank. So in the warehouse itself, using blockchain technology, we have created a network of 1,400 warehouses across 5 states of India. And we have lending partners who lend to these farmers in the warehouse itself as soon as the deposit is made, and a blockchain based warehouse receipt is made available to them. We have already serviced more than 5,000 farmers on the platform in last 18 months. And uh, in the coming year, we expect to release around 300 crore rupee plus to farmers through digital warehouse receipt finance platform on blockchain. So we have used by using blockchain, what as Mr. Damar was mentioning earlier, that the value chain is highly fragmented. So by using blockchain, what we have done that we have brought all these parties together, whether it is a warehouse, it's a collateral manager, it's a bank, or it's a farmer as well. And we have been able to this way, able to give them real-time loans at their doorstep in a paperless and personless function. So that is how world is functioning. And what we believe that this is one of the applications of blockchain in the agriculture value chain. But if we talk about the blockchain's use in value chain, that's huge. So for example, today across the globe, what we have seen that, especially after the COVID era, it is important for people to know that from where their food is coming, which processes it is going through, and whether the consumer is receiving food which is free from any sort of impurities, etc., or have gone through impure processes. By using a blockchain traceability solution, actually speaking, that is one thing which blockchain has been able to establish in the value chain. And the second part of it, this also allows, because blockchain creates the farm to fork level visibility across the chain. It also allows consumers to share. So today, using a traceability chain, a consumer like me or you who is sitting in metro cities can identify from which farm the food came. And actually speaking, we can pay some part of the price to the farmer directly as well, which helps increase farmer to get a fair share of prices. That's one. Also, what we see that, as I mentioned, we already use blockchain in agriculture financing space. In IF space also, where government is, and this is the first time I would say, so far, whenever we talked about agriculture financing, it was all about pre-harvest financing. Still, India even today does something like a 15 lakh crore rupee of disbursement in the pre-harvest finance. But if we look at post-harvest financing allocation, that is very, very low. So AIF is one of the most welcome steps towards this direction. And we believe that actually speaking, it will be good to deploy blockchain in some of the parts. So right now, what is happening that government has created this portal, and from there the loan applications are going towards to the banks, and the banks are doing the disbursement. What happens after that? Subsidies to be released. How do we monitor that what sort of level of work has been done, what sort of repayment is happening, and based on that, how do we do automated disbursement? How do we have the data of the progress of the report in a transparent fashion? So what we see that by creating a blockchain network wherein the IF participants, the Agri Ministry, the banks are, if they are on the same platform, then without the need of updating data at many layers, by using the shared ledger property, it will be possible for the government to monitor the progress of even at each and every loan level without need of much updation. And government can use that to release subsidies in an automated fashion using smart contracts. So using smart contracts, the system itself can determine that what level of subsidy, interest subsidy is eligible, and can use the DBT functions or the bank's real-time payment functions to make the payments directly to the borrower's bank account. And that will also help to weed out those borrowers who don't repay and are looking only for subsidy and encashment, etc. Not only that, the second part, as Mr. Raman was mentioning, that what happens after this infrastructure has been created. So as we all know, PAX warehouses have 72 lakh metric ton warehousing capacity already in India. And last year, out of the disbursement from AIF, 65% went to PAX. However, PAX warehousing capacity utilization has normally been between 20 to 30%. So what is the, the infrastructure should also be eligible to serve the population in a longer value chain itself. So by creating a blockchain network where, because now APMCs, as the Meena sir mentioned, that APMCs today also can avail loan through the AIF scheme. So if APMCs are availing loans for in better infrastructure creation, if farmers, FPOs and PACs are availing loans for creating this warehouse, so we better put them together on a single blockchain, and then we allow these farmer producers which are stored in the warehouses to connect to the mandis which have or APMCs updated through AIF, and allow create a virtual market over there on the blockchain itself. Again, there the payments, as the government has stipulated in the new farm laws, payments can be made. It can be ensured that payment is made within 1 day, which is a requirement of the law. And those things the blockchain smart contract can take care of on their own. And last part, which I will say, that even the farmers or FPOs who are creating this value chain through the AIF, what they are doing that by, they are helping us avoid the wastage of food, which happens around 20 to 30% of it goes waste in India. By avoiding that, we can actually, these farmers are eligible for carbon credits. And then we can create a blockchain. The blockchain network can help value the carbon credits and connect it to the international value chains where the carbon credits can be traded. So I see that the blockchain can play a huge role in this AIF post the sanction process as well.
Thank you, Ashish ji. Thank you very much for giving the insights about the blockchain. Still, the blockchain is a name for us actually. Practically, if you see, the many people have this in the name of blockchain, but practically they have not understood how it is functioning, how it is helping the fund. So definitely, we'll try to organize one dedicated webinar on the blockchain side where we can discuss in detail as a layman how it is functioning, how it is working. But great to know that you are helping the sector and you are connecting the farmers through the blockchain technology, and you are giving the suggestion to the government also. So that's great actually, that will help to the entire ecosystem. So thank you very much. So friends, we see that we have covered the various topics in this today discussion. There are some questions are also there from the audience. So Raman sir, there is a question from the audience regarding this. Does RI collateral provide this facility for the trading in the other part of the world also, as well as in India? And then another question is related to that you provide the logistic facility also. So these two questions are there for you.
So I have reverted, I think, over the chat only that currently we are not serving to the international markets. Yes, we are aiming to do that. And regarding crop insurance and the logistics part, yes, we are building that feature in our platform. So hopefully by next few months, it will be live. Okay.
So there is a question from Ranjit Khattarji, the AIF. This is regarding that they are producing, they are basically processing in this, and I think they are currently processing the Afghanistan or somewhere. Now they want to process in India. So whether it will be covered under the AIF scheme. So if anybody there from the AIF can answer this question, that'd be great.
Please repeat the question.
Question is basically somebody is basically processing the hing.
Processing
Ranjit Khatri there.
Okay.
So they are processing in Afghanistan, or they want to process in India.
Okay.
So whether this will be covered under AIF, this kind of project.
So they're processing what? Sorry.
Hing this.
Hing. Okay. Yeah, all primary processing activities are eligible.
Okay, that is covered. Okay.
Yeah, basically,
And
we are allowing all the primary processing activities, but we are not allowing secondary processing activities. So the basic difference between primary processing and secondary processing is, for example, we are taking wheat. So from wheat, if you are making like atta, then that is called primary processing. But if you are making some other product like bread or biscuits, so that is what we call as a secondary processing activity. So these kind of activities are not allowed. In case of spices and all, grinding, cleaning, all of these kind of activities are allowed.
okay,
Similarly,
there
in
is a
case
very,
of fruits and yeah,
please,
for
ma'am,
example,
please go
For
ahead.
example, in case of tomato vegetables, like if you are doing cleaning, grading, sorting, packaging, all of these kind of activities are primary processing and are allowed under the scheme. But if you are making products like ketchups or some kind of chutney, sauces, so these kind of activities are not allowed.
Okay, okay. That's a very good, I think, clarification which you have given, because there is a very, I think, small thin line about the primary and secondary processing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there will be a
But if we
confusion
are not
always in the mind
changing
of the
the
people.
form of our product, so that all kind of activities are allowed. But if you have some specific
Okay,
doubt regarding some other activity, then you can mail us and we'll reply.
okay. And somebody has asked, Mr. Narasimha Rao is there, he has asked about what is the time frame, ballpark time frame for the sanction of the loan under this scheme. Is there any time frame you have fixed, or this depend on the bank to bank?
Yeah, sir, we have signed MOU with banks
So
that they
suppose somebody
cannot
has
take
applied for
more
the
than
loan through the
60
portal.
days. So as per the procedure, when somebody apply on the portal, that application will be verified by the central PMO within 2 or 3 days, max 3 days. Then that application will go directly to the bank, and bank will take max 60 days. So that is a fixed time period to take a decision. Bank will
Okay,
not
and
take
this,
more than 60 days.
okay, that's great. I think you have answer of every question. Actually, that's great, and you have taken care all these things in advance, which will help the practitioners and the companies those are going in this kind of facility. So thank you very much for answering these
Thank you.
questions. Now I think we have already crossed the time limit, so I would like to wind up the session. And I would like to thank you to all the panelists for sharing their views on this platform and giving the details of the schemes and the taking the questions also, which gave some kind of clarification, knowledge, learning to our participants. And as you have seen, that participant also made it very interactive. They have asked many questions. I could not take all the questions, but still people are having interest in this topic. So we will plan maybe second webinar on this topic where we can go in detailed discussion. And I would like to thank you to all the participants also. And I'd like to thank you to the Resurgent team for making it successful, working hard and inviting all of us and giving us the opportunity to discuss on this, the government programs and the other stakeholders business models also. So thank you very much. Thank you again to everybody. And I hope so that this will be a great success. And I request all the industry people, all the players who are looking for loan against in this scheme, they can apply through the portal. And the NABARD is also clear that they can also fund directly. They can fund to the companies also if they are looking to set up any food processing unit in the food park. So this is another window for you. So the lot of opportunities are there from the funding point of view. As Resurgent India, we are basically industry by way of preparation of TV report. We do the valuations also, and we do the syndication for the funding requirement. So if you look any support, we are there. We can contact us. We'll definitely help you. So thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, and looking forward. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ashish ji and the Resurgent team.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.